for me, this is not just about the conference. It's about the honor. It's about seeing us here, gathering. It's about the success story of how we grew from obscurity to where we are right now. And for those who know me very well would know my story, would know how I started. And before I start, I just want to thank all the speakers for the amazing stories, their experiences they've shared with us. And I think what really drives people is stories, not just head knowledge, but stories, personal experiences of what we've gone through. And I think that goes a long way to inspiring people. For me, I started Artworks in 2018, shortly after I met my friend who was an artist. I mean, I wasn't a born artist. So I had to teach myself how to draw because I loved artworks then. I had to start drawing with pen and pencil, and it evolved. For me, I'm a creative. I love doing a lot of things that shows my creative prowess. So I had to learn photography, I had to learn graphic design, I had to learn animation, I had to learn a whole lot of things. And but one thing was important, I had passion for medicine. But how do I integrate art and medicine together? For me, of course, we are all Nigerians, and we know how JAM dealt with most of us here. So I wrote JAM for more than 8 times for medicine, and I wasn't admitted into medical school. Not because I wasn't smart, but for no reasons, I don't know why I wasn't admitted into medical school. And then for me, my family were concerned actually, I mean, why waste the time in medical school? Why not go into a career that's more profitable? Why waste the time pursuing a dream that in Nigeria, medicine is more of a luxury? Why not go into a career that's profiting where you would get money and take care of the family? But little did they know that medicine was not just a luxury, but was a passion. Because I hate seeing people sick. I hate seeing people suffer. But how do I do that? So I decided to take the bold step. I decided to learn other skills, graphic designs, illustrations, artworks. Then, as time progressed, I started doing a whole lot of things. Because I wanted to be a neurosurgeon, so I reached out to this group on Facebook, AFAN, and that was being locked down. I was actually very broke. So I sent a message to them on Facebook that I see their graphic designs, that they are very bad. I was very blunt. And I said that I would love to work for them, that they should pay me. And I had a prompt response that there are no resources to pay. And then I said to myself, okay, because I want to be a neurosurgeon, because I want to be a medical doctor, then I would love to volunteer for your organization, pro bono. Then my mentor replied and said, awesome, then you could work with us. I started making graphic designs, I started creating designs, and they were beautiful, of course. Then in the process, I was still also an artist, drawing with pen and pencil. Then my mentor said, Chi, I see your artworks I see you're artistic and you have passion for medicine. Why not integrate these two together? Why not go into a field called medical illustration? And I said to myself, what's medical illustration? Like, I didn't know what that was. I had to make research online, and I saw fascinating illustrations on the internet. They were amazing. Before now, I didn't know people created these illustrations. I didn't know people were actually the ones that making these artworks. Then I said, I was going to create this illustration. Today, my topic is about discovering hidden paths, right? Discovering these areas that are not explored and diving into them. Then I said I was going to do black illustration. But how? I was a medical student. I didn't know anatomy. I didn't know physiology. It was a difficult process. So the first thing I did was I had a very old medical textbook a friend of mine gave me. I took it. I started flipping through it. I saw the whole anatomy. It was tiring. For most medical students that are here, you know anatomy is complex. I was like, how do I draw this? How do I draw this? And sad to say, there are no tutorials on the internet on medical illustration. You will not see any tutorials. So I had to teach myself illustrations, teach myself Photoshop, teach myself anatomy. And while in that process of learning, I remember the first artwork that I created was a full complex anatomy. And for me then, I was so proud of what I did. The artwork was just beautiful. Then while creating these artworks, I realized that there is a problem somewhere. That if you are black, you are going to be stigmatized. If you are black and you are sickle celled, you are called a drug addict. If you are black and live in the Western world, there is a negative approach towards you. Then I now said, how can artworks change that narrative? How can creating diverse medical illustrations address the healthcare disparity that we see? Then I started creating black images, drawing images, and I created over about 40 images before the one I created went viral, or the black fetus went viral. And which was last year, still applying to medical school. I said, okay, since Nigeria is not working, let me go to Ukraine. Then I started a GoFundMe campaign on the internet, and for about 2 months, I didn't have resources, but I had amazing family. I had my elder brother who was very supportive. He ran around to friends and family who was raising money for me to go to Ukraine. And the GoFundMe was moving quite very slowly. I think about 2 months I had about $1,500. And I said, okay, it's time to go to school. I withdrew the money last year, around November, October. I went for my visa interview. I withdrew everything I had from the GoFundMe. I went for the visa interview in Abuja. Amazing. I was declined visa. I was denied a visa. So I lost the entire money on visa. I didn't have school fee. I didn't have visa. I just had only admission. So I said, what do I do now? What do I do now? So I came up from Abuja. Then I had to decide on, but I had to work. I had to create illustrations. So now I had to contemplate, what do I draw now? What do I create? So that day, I know I was in between a contemplation of what to create. Was it the full anatomy illustration or the black fetus illustration? Then I said I was going to create the black fetus illustration. I created this illustration. It took me about 1 week to create because I was using a computer mouse to draw because I didn't have money to buy drawing tablet. So about 1 week I created it. And for me, I'm a perfectionist. So when I created it, it wasn't beautiful to my test. I said, no, I didn't get this particular anatomy correct. It wasn't nice, it wasn't beautiful. So I decided to share the work online, to post it out there, to advocate for what I believe. And all I said was, I'm black and I'm beautiful. And more of these should be included in our medical literature. That was all I said. And thanks goodness, I included my GoFundMe link for people to support my medical school. 1 week passed, the image didn't go viral. Then one day I woke up. But before then, something very spiritual happened in my life. I was trying to raise money for school. Because I'm a Christian, I talk about God wherever I go to. So my other brother said to me, if the money in your hands are not sufficient enough, what do? You sow a seed. So I withdrew the last money I had in my account, 50,000. I told God I want to sow a seed. Who do I sow it into? And God showed me someone. And I sowed the seed into her life. I left. So the woman said, let's do a 7 days prayer. So after the 7th day prayer, I woke up one morning, I couldn't go to my emails anymore. I had calls from US, from all over the whole world. I woke up, I was crying, I was like, what's happening? And then I reflected some years back that this was not just about the miracle, it was about the preparation. You see, life is not accidental. In as much as I had sowed the seed, but I had prepared in those little stages of my life. So people ask me, when the image went viral last year, people were saying, I had a lot of artists who were like, why is the world celebrating this small boy? He's just 26. We are 35. We've been doing it for how many years and the world is not celebrating us? Then a friend of mine, I started feeling bad. I felt like I didn't deserve what happened in my life. Then a friend of mine told me that, you see, you started artworks 2018, but you started illustration 2020. So it's not about how fast, it's about how well. So I started 2018 drawing, but I started illustrations 2020. So I had put in the work to get into where I am today. And then I understood that sometimes to be a change agent, you need to discover those places people have ignored. And that only happens in the place of self-discovery. You know, we live in an era where young people are confused, are actually scared, are actually scared of what life is all about. Recently, I was thinking about a quote. I was in my room thinking, and a quote dropped in my spirit. That many young people are actually living life, but are not living in their life. two different things. Because see, a lot of young people want the guarantee of a bright future. They want the guarantee of a certain achievement, but they are not conscious of the fact that there is work to be put in inside of it. Because I remember when I was drawing, where I lived I had to go to my church every day, like every day for about 1 year to get power supply. To the point my friend would always call me church boy because I was always in church drawing. So I had to put in the daily effort to improve myself, to learning illustration, to drawing. Then in that process, I started becoming the person I was meant to become. Because sometimes people are confused. Where do I start from? How do I champion the change? How do I create an impact in my world? It starts on the inside. Because people want to be seen. People want to stand on the stage. People want to speak up. People want to be that public figure. But they fail to understand that self-improvement is the most important thing. Because you cannot give the world what you don't have. So I started thinking, assuming I became famous, I became viral, I went viral, and I wasn't prepared. And I didn't know how to speak in public. I didn't know how to converse. How would I manage the fame? So sometimes the little effort that we put, right, are those little seeds that we are sowing. And one of the key points I would say today is one of the things you need to understand that you need to have a growth mindset. A growth mindset. Because we have young people nowadays who want to grow rich, who want to be rich and famous, but they're not willing to put in the effort to working. Because you cannot get there without working hard. That's just a fact. So for us to be change agents, for us to champion change, we need to understand the growth mindset. Now the idea behind growth is that a seed has to die to grow, right? So that's how humans are. You need to die to your dreams, die to your passion. I had a friend of mine who told me some time ago, hey man, don't chase your passion, chase profit. And I will tell you today, passions are transient, yes, but it's passion that will keep you going. For me, I had passion for humanity, I had passion for people, and I had to keep working on it. I had to keep improving myself in that direction. So first importantly, you need to discover who you are as a person. And there's some questions you need to ask yourself. What is your impact in life? What is your importance in life? When you understand these questions, you begin to know your environment. Because for you to champion change in a global scale, you need to start from your environment. How can I influence my environment? How can I influence my immediate family? Because that's where you start from. Not everybody will be rich and famous. Because change is not about the fame. It's about the life we've touched. Because if we have people who every day say, because of you, I've lived my dreams. Because of you, I've become who I am today. That's the kind of change we desire. The world is getting noisy every day, as my president would always say. But for us to create an impact in the world, for us to become that change agent that we need to see, we need to seclude ourselves and find the meaning of life. And before I continue, I want you to take a second to reflect. What is life exactly? What is life? Because every day we go around every day thinking of what life is. We go around every day, living life every day, going to work, going to office, raising resources for our family. But not many people understand the meaning of life. Because life, as we are taught, is that we need to go to school, have a degree, take care of a family, raise children, die, get buried. But there's more to life. And I'll leave you with this one thought, because I know a lot of people are asking this question right now. How do I discover myself? Because what really helped me was that I discovered myself earlier enough. And I would say this very importantly. For me, strategically, the way to discover yourself is this simple question. Outside the confine of school, outside the confine of education, who are you? Because your purpose is not tied around education. Because people think that education only amplifies your discovery, only amplifies your purpose. But who you are is not tied around educational walls. That's the only way you can discover who you are. And there, you can see you can champion change. And because I heard a lot of people who gave their ideas, most of them from their personal experiences of how they want to change the world from what they've been through. That's how we can champion change. So you do not champion change based on what you think is profitable, but what you think the world needs. For me, when I started illustrations, I didn't know I was going to be famous. I didn't know I was going to have little money, if I have money. But one thing I knew, I was solving a problem, which was advocating for the black community. Recently, I went to Portugal, which I gave a conference, in one of the scientific conferences. I spoke to the medical student there. I asked them, do you know what racism is? And they said no. It was dawned on me that there is so much work to do. Because in Portugal, you really see black people in Portugal. And then I understood that this is a problem. Africa, we need to rise up. We need to champion this change because there is so much that we need to do for ourselves. The likes of John and Manam doing amazing prosthetic, of Tunde Nukoya and Adenika, amazing thing for Africa. The idea is not to improve Africa and run away from Africa. We need to change Africa. We need to change Africa. And that starts with you and I in this hall right now. So I'm not here to motivate you. I'm not here to inspire you and you go home and not do anything about it. We need to work. We need to put the energy together. We need to put our zeal because now we are young is when the energy is there to champion change. I strongly believe that in the nearest future, together, as young people, we will not just change Africa, but we'll take Africa to the spotlight. Thank you.